When it became a conservation park, one of the first things that was done was to restore the former ag lands to prairies. And so the whole central portion of the park has been reestablished as native tallgrass prairie vegetation. We maintain that today by burning it regularly. It provides great habitat for grassland nesting birds, as well as just a variety of wildlife. Some of the other work we've done in the past at Owen is to clear invasive species from the woodlands, particularly west of the parking lot, extending over to Ozark Trail and the houses along Ozark Trail. We've restored a lot of oak woodland on that side, and you can see the progress we've made as you move around through the different little subunits to the west of the parking lot. There's a trail system that loops through that portion of the park, and inside of each loop of the trail system, you can see a variety of stages of restoration. We're trying to bring the remaining woodlands in the park under management to make them as diverse and healthy as the area west of the parking lot. We had another 6 or 7 acres cleared of buckthorn. We're going to follow up on that by controlling the resprouts with prescribed grazing for a couple of years. And then after that, we'll be able to reestablish native herbaceous species by sowing native seed mix and doing controlled burns to maintain the habitat and the structure of the oak woodland. We have a lot of volunteers at Owen. There's a newly established friends group there that has been really just a powerhouse.
I actually grew up around Owen Park and moved away, and then we came back. So I put out a call to see if there was any interest in people joining a friends group, which is how I met Beth. Beth had also just thought about starting a friends group.
With Owen Park in mind, I took this Wisconsin Bumblebee Brigade training, and then I took this monarch monitoring training, and I had this naive idea that I would just train myself, put out a couple of notices, and volunteers would flock in. It took a while. I managed to run across one of Bethany's work events at Owen. We both had the same idea to do the friends group.
We needed each other to kind of get each other going and working on it and checking in with each other. And so that was a real gift. It took us a while to kind of get into our stride.
An early project that someone in the neighborhood suggested, we removed vegetation from around this rock wall that was created when that land was farmed. That seemed to be a draw for people, something they really appreciated.
Our first big project was cutting buckthorn, and we had this big brush pile we burned. And we had a great turnout, lots of enthusiasm. And then after we had that big event, it was kind of like, okay, what do we do now?
Wednesdays were really great for forming a core group of people that would come every week, and it was clear that they wanted to come, and they wanted in part to see each other.
And I felt like I learned so much about what invasive species were out there and, what time of year and what's the best way to tackle them. I feel like we eradicate a lot of the invasive species there, everything from garlic mustard to Dame's rocket, porcelain berry, buckthorn, learning to identify oriental bittersweet. And also we started to collect seed to spread in these areas.
We have several citizen science projects occurring at Owen, including the Wisconsin Bumblebee Brigade, the Joint Monarch Initiative, where volunteers go out and survey the habitat to find how suitable it is for monarch butterflies, as well as going out and searching for monarch egg masses and cocoons to monitor the health of the monarch population. We had a researcher come to Owen last summer and study the rusty-patched bumblebee, which is a federally endangered species. They actually found a nest at Owen, so that was an exciting find, and it's a good indicator to us that we're doing things right and managing oak woodland for pollinators.
Two of our volunteers who have experience planting native plants in their own yard, they started to create an education garden right in the parking lot area at Owen. It's a work in progress, and they designed an entire garden of just native plants.
We'd like to increase our volunteer hours. There's more to do than we're able to do with the people we have now, so I'd like to try to connect with scout groups, school groups, anyone else in the community who can help, even if they're not part of our core weekly group, maybe one-time events with larger numbers of people. And similarly with the monitoring, I want to get more people involved in that so that lasts long-term, because that's how it's really valuable. It's only about 100 acres. With all the tens of thousands of people that live near it and care about it, and immense resources we have in this town in the form of people who know about conservation and care about it. If our group continues to work and grow, we can get rid of the garlic mustard, and we can get rid of the buckthorn, and we can burn as recommended. This park is a tremendous opportunity. It can be a classroom and a laboratory and a center for environmental education that could just be amazing.
To get involved and help shape the next 50 years, see the Madison Parks website for volunteer opportunities.